Hi. Hi. My name is Alex Varela, and today is December the 8th, 2015. This is my fifth video posted on YouTube. Hopefully, you have enjoyed the previous ones, although they mostly describe the hard life I am having to endure to this date. But first, I'd like to repeat that although things have become more evident to me since the middle 2007, I strongly believe it actually started way back in 2002 and 3, while still living in Argentina. Perhaps there were indications or comments from people I knew back then that I should have considered more carefully. But the situation of the country was quite dramatic in those days. Other aspect I wish to remark is that I always have the impression in all the places that I've been living since the 25th of November 2009 that I was watched through my computer, cameras, microphones in my car, etc. And there have been always people living nearby connected to this continuous surveillance to this date. But I will resume what I left last time. On the 23rd of February 2013, I sent a text message to Con, Maria's son, saying I was leaving the house on the 28th of February. On the 26th of February, the same year, argument with Con about not leaving the room as agreed, because I couldn't find a suitable room back then. It was always hard to find a room, and I will come back to that point as well. On the 27th, Con came down to my room and apologized after the previous conversation. We had some bit of an altercation about that. On the 28th of February, after talking to Fred over the phone, visited the house at the 26 Jackson Road in Upper Park North, and I met David, who was there living too, with him in a very small room. Mine was a big one, but without a conventional door, without a lock, just a foldable door. And but they didn't require a bond, and I was really struggling with the money, so I accepted anyway. Well, there were two cats as well, David's cats. Just 2 weeks rent in advance, so I accepted. Although the room was not very good, but look, like I said before, it was very hard to find, and it is very hard to find over the years to find a good place to live in. I left Maria's house without saying goodbye to anyone. Later on, came to my knowledge that on that address, on the new one, the tenant on the lease agreement was a guy called Cherry Carter, was transsexual actually, who didn't live in the house and came back to pick up the correspondence once in a while. On the 4th of March, appointment at BVS in the CBD with Tony. And the 7th of March, I received a credit card rejection letter from the National Bank based on a credit report from Vida. But Vida have a file on me, but not on my legal name, which was Alex, but on the old name, Anibal Alejandro. I don't know why to this day. Why is that? But it was very strange that National Bank rejected based on a credit report that didn't exist, because they say that rejected based on the Vida's report, and they didn't have any file under my name, legal name, but on the old name. On the 8th of March, an appointment at Centrelink. There was a guy there, a fat guy that he made me wait for about 2 hours, one of the employees, and I always supposed that I always thought there was something related to the police station, which is very close to Centrelink. On the 10th of March, Maria Mussolino called me. I was already living on Jackson's Road, and she called me chasing money for the electricity bill. from back the time when I was living there. The report from Vida, basically they sent me two reports. One saying that they couldn't find anything under Alex, which is my legal name since 2006, but they did a one until under the name of my old name, which was the one that I had before I changed it. On the 12th of March, appointment at Springvale Aid Center with Ben Hanna. This is an American guy who said that he was volunteering there, and they will help me with the to pay the registration of my car. I was really struggling with the money. I'm still paying the registration of my car through that loan, the current one. They helped me with the NILS, which is a no interest loan scheme, to pay my the registration of my car. On the 14th of March, visit to Centrelink Springville again for lower income supplement. Again, the same guy made me wait for more than an hour. On the 15th of March, check from Springville Aid Center for Vic Road and pay the registration. And there were some, by that time there were some arguments with this guy Fred. On the 19th of March, Fred left the house, owing money to Dave. Apparently they were in a relationship. I don't know. Sherry told me once that they were a couple. On the 27th of March, appointment with Simon Jacobs, the psychologist, who was encouraging me for the DSP, the Disability Support Pension, at that time. He based that on he needed two supporting prognosis back then, himself and a psychiatrist. So that was his plan for that. I wasn't convinced at all because I heard that it's not that easy, but I'll come back that later. At that time, I also received a superannuation letter from the BT Business Super, and strangely enough, it was in regards to an outstanding amount that I had on this company from the period that I worked for Winterwide as a cleaner. And it was really strange because it was $1,700 around that amount, which is a lot of money. I didn't know what to think, but because for $19.60 an hour, 3 times a week, 2 hours a day during 6 months, it was never possible that amount. But in any case, it's one of the strange things that happened to me over the years. On the 28th of March, appointment at Mount Waverly Clinic. I needed a referral from a psychiatrist. Ask for Simon Jacobs. On the 29th of March, I bought a Wi-Fi US modem for internet connection suggested by Cherry. On the 3rd, I will come back to that later, perhaps on the next year, because we have some problems in regards to that as well. On the 3rd of April 2013, appointment at PBS in the city with Anne. We talked about my DSP application suggested by Dr. Simon Jacobs. She made an appointment with Centrelink for the 12th of April to start that application. Although, again, I was not entirely convinced about that back then, although I was stressed. But, well, usually you need more than that to get such a pension. On the April the 5th, I told Dr. Jacobs I couldn't find a bulk billing psychiatrist, meaning one that won't charge me at all. And it was really hard to find one because usually they are very expensive. On the April the 6th, I went for a jog to a nearby park and a patrol stopped me on Brady Road in Oval Park. He was parked and followed me, asked for a breath test, checked driver license, and asked me for the correct my current address. I said that I should replace the plates of my car, which were not visible from 20 meters. He gave me a warning and said that he would fine me if within 2 weeks I didn't comply with that, replacing the plate. Um, this was 1 year after that incident at Cheltenham Road. Eventually, I replaced the plate, the front one at least. April the 8th, I received a credit report from Vida and talked to Dr. Simon Jacobs and made an appointment with a psychiatrist for the 3rd of June that year. At home, a music session with Dave and his friend Ryan, who was really annoying. I come back to that later. On the 10th of April, appointment with Dr. Jacobs, and he recommended me an appointment sooner than the one organized for the 3rd of June. And he said that he could get the money from PBS for the consultation. I said I had an appointment with Centrelink on the 12th first. On the 12th, appointment with Centrelink, Dandenong, a psychologist there, a female one. Although he didn't ask many questions, but dismissed any possibility for a DSP, for disability support pension, saying I just didn't qualify for it. She also decided to change the Jose provider to a one for people with disabilities. On the 22nd of April, appointment at Centrelink Dandenong with other 5 guys I never met before. We were gathered there for just to tell us that the new opening hours for Centrelink 8:30 to 4:30. One of the strange things that we're going around there. The same day, the first appointment with the new job agency for people with disability called Ostara. That was assigned by Centrelink, by Psychology Centrelink, that agency. In this case, DWAR was not part of the change. I met there James Macmillan. I signed the paperwork, and we talked about anything, but he said in the end that we should meet on a weekly basis. On the 26th of April, my Centrelink was suspended, arguing that I didn't attend to my appointment, the one that I mentioned before. So I rang them, and they restored the payment. On the 29th of April, I appointment with James at Ostara again. I suggested our meetings to be on fortnightly basis, especially for the petrol that I had to spend going once a week. He eventually accepted. He said that all my expenses for the psychiatrist would be reimbursed, about $57 per visit. On the 30th of April, I called Nicole for a haircut. Although she knew me very well by then, she called me Rush. I don't know why. She hung up. One of the things that she used to do when we see each other back then. On May the 2nd, psychiatric clinic called me to reschedule the June appointment for the 10th of May. The 3rd of May, I called James at Ostara about the news for a new appointment and whether I could get my refund earlier. He accepted, telling me I could pick up the refund next Monday. On 10th of May, first appointment with Dr. Dalmash. This is the psychiatrist that I found on bulk billing basis at the Monash Family Psychiatry in Clayton. I was really stressed back then. He prescribed some medication, but I never took that. I never was able to take it because I knew that it was going to be worse than anything else, because they will control and will be restrain or restrict my possibility to look for a job. On the 13th of May, the appointment with Ostara was cancelled. On the 17th, another appointment with Dr. Amash. On the 22nd, appointment with Dr. Jacobs, mentioned new warehousing. I mentioned him that the new warehousing course was offered by Ostara to start on the 3rd of June. He said that I could be promoted to the finance area later on, eventually. On the 24th of May, attended to the information session at Cove Training in C4 for a certificate in warehouse operations. On the 3rd of June, appointment with James, that from Ostara. He was a bit upset about, I don't know why. On the 5th of May, appointment with Dr. Dalmash again. He made me wait for an hour. I left not before booking another visit for the 13th of June. On the 11th of June, no news from the warehousing training course that I talked before. I received a phone call from Betty, and she mentioned that people from Argentina are now working independently on a cabin in the south. I didn't understand. She also told me I didn't understand what she meant, but she also told me that she was working as a cleaner after her job as a childcare assistant. Vicky is studying at the uni. She reminded me of her dates with Vicky's secondary school. She also said she was living with Simon in Chelsea in a house, and I told her that I wanted to see Vicky. I needed to see her, that I wasn't a bad father, etc. It was a bizarre conversation at times, but at least they were okay. On the 13th of June, appointment with Dr. Damash. He told me I should insist calling Vicky. He told me that my blood and other health tests that he ordered before were okay. Only the vitamin B12 was a bit low. On the 17th of June, I appointment with James again from Stara. The COP trainings. The guys from the warehousing didn't answer his claims to enroll me, although they sent him the bill for $200. He suggested other courses, so that course was dismissed without an explanation at all. That was a bit strange, and he was unable to give me any explanation about that. I said that he suggested other courses. I said I was open to other alternatives with a job perspective. He suggested a certificate 3 in fitness, certificate 3 and 4 in fitness, certificate 4 in massage, and certificate 1 in vocational preparation. A 1-year course at an organization called BFI, Victorian Fitness Academy in Narre Warren. In regards to that, I got an appointment with Jeremy Riley at BFI in Narre Warren the next day. The course was due to start on the 1st of July and supposed to end on the April 2014. 3 days a week, 9 to 4 p.m. On the 20th of June, phone call from Jeremy BFI saying everything was ready for me to start the course since they already received the purchase order from Ostara. I remember that it was quite expensive, in the thousands of dollars about this 1-year course. So it was paid by the agency, apparently. This is very strange because usually, as I said before, all these agencies are complaining about lack of resources. Back then, they pay for the psychiatrists, they pay for the course, the training, the warehousing course that never happened, and this pay for that as well. But in any way, well, it didn't work out that course. On the 26th of June, another music session at home. David and his friend Ryan, who seemed to know a lot about me. On July the 1st, first and last day at BFA course, I attended just 1 day. It was not what I expected at all. I was really upset, angry about that because it would take many hours. It was not any kind of perspective or any kind of job in the short term, and I needed money back then. So I sent an email to James. He didn't answer that email. I called Stara and talked to Anastasia Jurablev instead. She offered me $40 petrol card and signed a new agreement. After that, Peter from Stara called me, also trying to get assurances. I didn't exactly what he meant with that, but he did that. On the 5th of July, appointment with Dr. Dharmash again, and when he said, I wouldn't recommend such a long course in your current situation. The result of your liver is a bit high, he also said, and you should retest. And he asked me, have I ever been a heavy drinker, which I said no, I never was. On the 6th of July, in the morning, I was stopped on Princess Highway by the police, who asked me about the rear plate and should get another one for big roads. I explained that I was unemployed, but well, they never understood that, they never cared, so well, it was that way. 9th of July, I called ADR in regards of the account outstanding amount of $126, which was an old bill from Free, the mobile phone company. and they fixed that on the credit report. On the 11th of July, I called Vicky, and the call was diverted to overseas. I suppose they were in Argentina back then. On the 15th of July, appointment at Ostara with James again. He was not available. Anastasia was the one who met me. No mention to my financial problems mentioned before, like the car service or the petrol cars or anything like that we talked about before. I described to her the situation regarding my enrollment with VFI. She showed empathy towards me and recommended I should have a break from them and Centrelink. She also suggested to get a medical certificate from my GP and bring it to Centrelink. Later called Mount Weatherly Clinic, and I was booked on the 16th of July with Dr. Alan Canine about that. Well, I feel really upset about the whole situation back then because I felt I was treated like a ball, you know. On the 16th of July, Dr. Canning signed a certificate with depression and no copying on it. And I got home and decided to bring that certificate to Centrelink. The security guards seemed to know me and started to staring at me. Finally, an employee called calling. A guy was being nervous. Another woman came to see me, a manager, who told me very aggressively that a medical certificate was not enough and not explanation to how was it possible that the previous year I was able to work 15 hours and in 2011 it was only 6 a week. In that year it was 15 and the previous year was 6, and now I was exempted for appointments. Finally, I managed to get another appointment with another psychologist on the 19th of July, and this time a report from the psychiatrist was for that appointment. A report from the psychiatrist was needed. I called Dr. Damash, and he booked me for the next day at 6 p.m. after telling me that they were fully booked for that week, but he could find a time for me to fill that report. I made Dr. Damash who fill out the report on the 17th. On the 19th, appointment at Centrelink with Kate, a psychologist, who I was pretty convinced back then that it was the same woman I saw back at the magistrate court. In uniform, I think it was. We met at the first floor at Centrelink, Dandenong. Usually meetings were conducted on the ground floor. We talked about my situation with Dr. Jacobs, Damash, etc. She insisted on not changing the Joseph provider and stay with Ostara. She also suggested a 12-month break from appointments with the job agency, although I told her that I wasn't taking any medication. On the 25th of July, another appointment with Anastasia Zhugalev, Stara. It was a very strange conversation at times, and booked me for another appointment for the 12th of August. On the 27th of July, I went for a jog to a park nearby. I lost my car keys, but several neighbors showed up to help me to find them, some with metal detectors. Very strange episode. It was a Sunday morning. So and the 9th of August, I called from Anastasia, cancelling the appointment on the appointment, rescheduling for the well, because of the 1-year break or 12 months break, I wasn't supposed to meet her again until the 19th of July 2014. On the 16th of August, appointment with Dr. Damash. On the 15th of August, before that, I received it because I wasn't convinced about the information from Vida, so I asked for the same information from Dun & Bradstreet, and they sent me the credit report containing accurate information under my legal name, who was Alex Barella back then, since 2006. So they got it right. On the 21 of August, appointment with Dr. Jacobs, again at PVS Springvale. We talk about a lot of things. He suggested that a career as a bus driver. He mentioned his daughter wedding and all the things, but we agreed to see each other on monthly basis. This is the Dun & Bradstreet report. On the 24th of August, I went for a jog. I used to go for a jog or for a bike ride. I try to do that once in a while when the weather is good. On the 26th of August, went for a bike ride as well. On the 29th of August, organized an appointment with Springvale AIDS Center for the 3rd of September for a NILS, no interest loan scheme, for the 6 months of the registration of my car. 30th of August, another appointment with Dr. Amash. 31, another job. The 4th of September the 4th, appointment at Spring Valley Center. They rescheduled the meeting for the 6th of September with How, a guy that I met before. On the 6th of September, a phone call from Spring Valley Center organizing a new appointment for the 10th of September. How was sick. And the 7th of September, elections in Australia, hoping for a change. Tony Abbott, new Prime Minister. On the 8th of September, went for a bike ride. The 10th of September, appointment at the Springvale Center with How. After more than an hour waiting just to get a check for $299 for the registration. On the 27th of September, appointment at Centrelink Dandenong. It was an express interview, very quick. I offered an update from Dr. D, but was not accepted, despite the fact that I was granted a 12-month break due to my medical condition, and he booked another appointment for November the 8th. But what I was trying to do back then was basically to show them, because since they gave me that break, I was trying to tell them that I was seeing him on a regular basis. I accepted the break because I was tired of this sort of bullying with all the agencies. So I thought it could be at least good to be a break, to have a break from that sort of mistreatment. I did it. Something that in the future I never repeated again, or I try to avoid. On the 27th of September, at Springvale AIDS Center, I remember that I had problems with my PC back then, and they suggested me to qualify for a Good Money, which is an institution in Dandenong, for a loan, because I was still repaying the needs with them. So I talked to them over the phone, to Good Money in Dandenong. I talked to Dell, an employee back then, and he offered me instead a step-up loan, subject to the approval of the National Bank. 27th of September, Ryan visited David home. He was coughing very artificially, as it happens until today. I think that, as I said before, he knew about me, and perhaps they were in a relationship with them. I don't know. On the 29th of September, I went for a road bike. And the 30th of September, Betty called me to tell me her mom passed away. It was a very shocking news, very sad. On the 4th of October, I went to Good Money in Dandenong to talk to Dell about the step-up loan. Eventually, he organized another appointment with Ben Hanna, the same guy that I met at Spring Valley Center, the same American guy that I met before. He was there back then again. On my way out of that office, there were some guys going around. I couldn't understand back then, but they were very strange faces. On the 10th of October, I paid outstanding debt balance with Centrelink due to my time with working with Winterwhite, and to have access to the yearly advance payment of $100. On the 19th of October, service to my car done by Joseph, a mechanic recommended by Bobby, and that was the last time that I was able to service my car, back in October 2013. On the 20th of October, I arrived 21 of October. I went to Ferntree Gully to buy a second-hand headlight for my car because I've been damaged in the crash back in 2009. And I watched problems with the police. 29th of October, they called from Glenn Smart, an employee at National Bank in Glen Waverley, to tell me that they approved the loan. And that was despite the fact that the rejection of application for a credit card on the March the 7th. So I was a bit surprised about that, because if they rejected a credit card application based on a credit report, how on earth they approve this personal loan? I didn't understand that, but anyway, I took it because I needed the money for changing the PC. For that purpose, I went to Centrecom, a shop in Clayton, to get a quote that they require to issue the check. On the 31st of October, appointment with Glenn Smart at National Bank. There was a discrepancy there as to how the fortnightly payments were calculated. They were calculated based on a $3,000 loan, and instead of the $1,618, there was the right amount, the amount that I needed. So we had a bit of a discussion. I felt bullied again, returned the check, and he said that he would open another account with the correct payments. I called Ben Hanna at Good Money, and I promised to fix the situation. I talked to Matthews as well. The bank proceeded the next day. The bank proceeded anyway with the wrong direct debit on my bank account. So I went to see Glenn again. We had an argument again, but I convinced him to give me another check with the right amount to charge into my bank account. Once at home, I found the National Bank. I talked to Christina Hanna, who gave me a complaint number because I complained about this guy. I received a letter signed by Sarah Berry on the 12th of November that year, saying they were investigating my complaint, but I never heard from anyone ever since. And the letter said we are looking into your complaint, but well, nothing happened. So that is pretty much the case. And the 8th of November, argument with Dave about him leaving. Stupid argument about leaving the cleaning brush on my side of the kitchen. Well, he was doing it repeatedly, and I didn't understand why he did it. So we had some sort of argument about that, and I'm mentioning this because we have some sort of strange arguments during the time that I was there. And I suppose that they were trying to tell me something. I don't know. I was with that idea, and I still think that they did. I remember that the same day, while mowing the nature strip on the house, because I used to do the lawn mowing, and Dave didn't do anything. He didn't do anything about in the house. Two patrols drove past very slowly, and very close to I was working on the grass, and it was very strange. And when I came back to the house, I told him about that. He said that he knew nothing about it. An appointment at Centrelink with a female employee said that no medical report was needed, despite I was granted a break from GSP again, from the agencies. On the 16th of November, a potential tenant, Laurie, come to see the empty room that left Fred when he left in the house. He didn't call back. On the 20th of November, accept appointment with Dr. Jacobs. We talk about my file with Centrelink, supposedly in preparation of an application for a pension, despite Centrelink previously rejecting any chance of that, and said that I should bring all the medical reports to our next appointment on the 4th of December. On the 28th of November, appointment with Dr. Darmash, more BS, this time from the receptionist. On the 4th of December, appointment with Dr. Jacobs. He didn't want to accept the situation with Centrelink. I explained what was happening, and I showed him the email from Anastasia saying that I was exempted from regular appointments until the 19th of July 2014. On the 10th of December, I made a petition to Centrelink to access my file. Eventually, it was not accepted. On the 11th of December, David told me in the morning someone from Queensland was coming to stay in the house. This guy stayed at night. And on the 12th, we have a long and tedious argument with him. I have an argument with Dave in regards to this cousin. He said it was his cousin. First indication about his gay condition, I suppose. I told him about that. I told him that I didn't bring any woman in the house, and it was not fair for him to bring in any his male partners or to sleep in the house. And he told me that the guy was leaving in a couple of days, and eventually it happened. My petition to look into my file was denied by Centrelink on the 18th. On the 20th of December, appointment with Nicole, the hairdresser. She asked me about my plans for the festive season. We ended up talking about our private lives. I told her to call me if she wanted to go out. It never happened. Though on the 23rd of December, an appointment with Dr. D. Garmash. We talked about my situation with Centrelink. An appointment with Dr. Jacobs as well. He said the position of Centrelink was incomprehensible and started to smile. I told him it was not funny for me. He asked me about the psychologist from Centrelink, Kate. And that will be it for now. My plan is to do another videos for 2014 and 15 over the next days. So for now, thank you and goodbye. Thank you.